Yes, the boys. It's been a very long time since I've actually jumped onto YouTube and documented the journey. So I thought, what better time than a Saturday night whilst everybody's out doing whatever the fuck they're doing. I've just got finished for the day. Got actually finished up actually creating my ads that are going to go live on Monday. And that's a whole entire story in itself, actually. I should probably cover that in another video. My last campaign that I launched that just went fucking crazy for like 2 days and I had to turn it off. But I'll probably cover that in the next video. Got finished with the ads. It's 10 to 9 right now. And I thought, let's jump on. Let's document the journey again. And let's try and build that habit up a little bit because I feel like I owe it to myself. And the reason as to why I started documenting the journey was because I've always wanted to look back on it and I've always wanted to see how far I've actually come. And for the longest time, I actually did document. Sometimes I documented every day. Sometimes it was, a few times a week, a couple times a week. And then eventually, since I moved to Manchester, kind of faded away. I kind of lost my style of just sitting down, speaking to the camera. Kind of lost my ability to actually communicate properly for whatever reason. I would just stutter. I would just have to repeat myself. And I wasn't being myself in a way. And then eventually I started to trying to be a fucking vlogger for whatever reason. I feel like I was just probably enjoying editing the cinematics and the different angles and music and trying to be whatever at that point. And then eventually I realised that's taking so much of my time that I can't even actually focus on the business because I'm having to put a camera here whilst I'm having a discovery call or a demo call, and then I'm having to change it to put it here, and then I'm having to talk into the camera and explain things to try and put it into an actual vlog that makes sense for somebody to watch it. And I just thought, I prefer this, raw videos, and I just want to drop some value because it would probably be boring for somebody to just click on this if you have clicked on this and you're still watching this, to just hear about, oh, well, I do this, I do that, and yesterday I signed a client and, I reached out to this business and then today I created my ad, and it's boring. I don't really want to talk about it. The ins and outs of running an agency are pretty simple, and it's the constant same cycle of doing the same shit pretty much every single day until you're getting results. And then when you do get results, just keep on doing it and then you'll get more results. And I feel like it's, once you grasp the idea of how the model works, of the inputs that you need to be inputting, I know, Shakespeare, you kind of get the outputs that you're after and then you just do them on a bigger scale. But if you're like me, you'll probably just get kind of bored and complacent with the numbers that you're doing, and you'll just cruise along and be like, oh, I'm enjoying this. I don't have to scale, and I don't have to get loads of more clients on, and I don't have to turn ads on and, run ads all the time to generate calls, etc., to get more clients on. And, when somebody drops off, I'll just flip the switch or ask for a couple of referrals and people come on board and stay for, 6 months or whatever it is. And it's great. But over the past sort of month or so, I've been trying to push the boat out a little bit when it comes to conversations with other agency owners, with other business owners, and I actually have kind of opened up my perspective of what's possible, because I've always kind of known what's possible in terms of the numbers, right? You see on YouTube, you see on socials, you see people doing 50k, 100k months, 200k months, whatever the fucking put in the titles, right? And you kind of know, all right, yeah, it's possible, but at what actual ability as a one-man team can you get to that? I don't even know if that sentence made sense, but we'll go with it. I can't be bothered cutting this. You kind of see it and you think, all right, cool, this guy's doing it, brilliant. You get to the 10, 15, 20k months on your own. You use a couple of freelancers. Great, fantastic. Can I really want to, or do I really want to push past that? Is there any point? I'm doing fine with the numbers, with the income, etc., etc. And it's been like that for the past 6 months in a way, to be completely honest. There's been drops, and obviously, as it is with business, if you're not pushing, you're kind of slowing down and you're falling behind. So obviously you need to be innovating and trying to be competitive in this market, because with AI coming through, it is so easy to enter any model and any market and disrupt it and compete against the bigger businesses. So I think now is probably the best time for me to kind of push the boats out. I've been speaking to a lot of different agency owners, and they've opened up my perspectives, or depth of perspective, or whatever the fuck I'm trying to say. Basically, I've just realised I can do more and I can do better, and I have the ability to do so. So that's exactly what I want to do in the next sort of 6 to 12 months. I'm trying to piece that with a few things that are happening in my personal life, which I probably will talk about eventually. I kind of don't want to ruin things just in case they don't go into fruition, because the evil eye is real and people are watching and they don't want you to succeed. They don't want you to win. So, yeah, there's a lot going on, but I've been speaking to a lot of agency owners, and I kind of realised that you have to become the person that is able to make that 7-figure year before you can actually get the 7-figure years. And there's an element of delusion to all of this, which I think I've always kind of lacked, because I've always been very self-aware. I've always over-calculated decisions. I've always thought about things way too often and way too much depth, rather than just thinking, doing, realising it's not working, realising it's working, doing more of it, whatever it is, right? Which I think kind of didn't really play in my favour, to be completely honest, but it is what it is. Another thing that kind of has been on my mind, in a way, over the past however many months it's been since YouTube and since I've actually picked up the camera, is the fact that you have to get clear on what you want in life. And I've really, really struggled with that personally. Yes, I wanted to, get to a decent financial stage where I've been comfortable and, have the ability to do whatever I kind of want within limit. Obviously, I'm not going to go and spend £1,000 a night at a hotel in London or whatever. Like, I'll go and fucking spend £200 for the night, but I won't spend £1,000 because the pockets aren't that deep, brother. But yeah, it's kind of just getting clear on what you want in life and thinking big. And I think I kind of want to instill that in you, if you're watching this and you're listening to me ramble, is that there is a lot of opportunities out there, that's for sure. But actually, a lot of the times the advice is to, be realistic and, kind of impose this or self-impose this constraint upon yourself of the fact that you got to be realistic. You can only get to 10k, or you can only get to 15k, or you can only get to 5k, as some people will say. And actually, those things should not exist, especially in your own mind, because playing small doesn't do anything for you. It doesn't do anything for your family. It doesn't do anything for your future kids, or your kids that if you have kids. It doesn't do anything for the world, because the greatest ideas and the greatest inventions and I guess the greatest products or services have been built because there's been an element of delusion and also somebody not being realistic. So I just feel like it's down to you as an entrepreneur to not stay realistic and just do the shit you want to do and do the shit that you think you do, but you kind of want to eliminate those self-imposing constraints that you have in your head. Another thing that's kind of been on my mind is playing long term, because I've always kind of set myself these long-term goals and these long-term visions, and always said like, just thinking decades and years and not just weeks or months, and like of what you want to do by the end of this year or what's happening in the next 5 years or so. But actually it's quite difficult to think like that, just down to the fact that things are changing so quickly, and it feels like every single year things are just becoming much easier for people to enter, especially with AI as an example, right? The knowledge barrier has now been completely eliminated. It doesn't exist. Like, if you need information about something, you just type it into ChatGPT, and that's basically enabling everybody to enter any space and actually be competitive. So I think that's something that I'm trying to kind of understand in a way, because the way the markets are going to shift, and as an example, I serve home improvement companies in the UK, service-based businesses, working B2C. How is that going to shift with the use of AI? And paid ads is obviously my vehicle of getting these businesses results. Well, how is that going to change when Meta rolls out AI campaigns as an example? Are people going to respond to campaigns that are just blatantly AI, and homeowners are going to build trust with those AI campaigns? Or are they not going to build trust, and there's a completely different angle that you can take and the route that you can take as an agency owner within this space? And I think thinking of years and decades, like trying to plan shit like that, I think it's just incredibly naive to think that what you think right now and what you know right now is what's going to happen in 10 years time or 5 years time, because that's the goals that you've set, when in reality things can change very quickly, especially with technology. And I think we should probably not be as naive as we are when it comes to thinking that way. So yeah, I think that will probably be it for this video. Hopefully it was a bit of value and food for thought. I guess that's the whole purpose of these videos. The agency's doing well. As I said, I've just got finished creating an ad, so I'm going to launch that in the upcoming week and hopefully look to scale. I've now got the systems in place to actually be able to take on like 3 to 5 clients a week, which is fantastic. I've got the ability to do so, especially with the new offer. Maybe 3 clients, not 5. I think that would be way too much. But 3 clients with the people that I've got on board, or that have lined up, I should say, if things do go right. If you always have any questions or anything like that, I'm always happy to talk to people on Instagram and help you out. I recently helped like 6 different people with their ads. And people were like sending me messages saying, mate, you're sharing gold, like why don't you charge for this information? And I do, but I also like to help people because I know what it feels like being stuck in a position, especially early on, and not having that information that you can just take from somewhere or from somebody. And in most cases, especially in our space, it's all gated behind communities and paywalls and courses and mentorship. And yes, I do mentorship, but at the same time, I always like to help people that are just like I used to be a good few years ago.